Hello and welcome to part 4. We're almost there. How was your last week filling out your technology summary and finding the bombs in your company's IT? I know it's a ton of work to put those together and evaluate everything. Hopefully there weren't too many bombs. Now that you have your summary, we're going to plan the work to move all the bombs to check marks. This is probably the hardest part of the process so far. So let's get started. There's two ways of managing technology. There's reactive, which is where many companies are, and there's proactive. You can probably figure these out for yourself. One looks backwards, solving problems when they happen, and one looks forward to solve them in advance. I bet you know which one I prefer. The problem with reactive is most of your time is spent dealing with reactive issues. Things that are broken, there's time spent setting up computers, everything is special, people are bugging you every once in a while, there's less documentation, it's hard to prioritize or even plan your week. It's a very negative way of working to work in this firefighting mode. Planning is tough. You can't say, well, next month I'm going to spend 20 or 200 hours doing these projects. It's a bit of a guess. Whereas with proactive, we know what these numbers are and we can budget that time for proactive project work and reactive. Proactive maintenance is a very positive and energizing way of working with IT. It's forward-looking and supports the strategic goals of the company. But you have to commit to being proactive. You can't be both. Sure, reactive issues always come up, but we challenge them by asking, what could we have done to prevent that? Did we need better backups, better documentation, better training, better tools? Really, any reactive issue could have been prevented. So how do we get there? Well, there's no way to improve unless you're measuring. You've got to monitor all the issues. So that's really having a ticket system. With one client, we set up a tracking system with their technician to track all his time. That gave us a very clear picture of where his time was being spent and what were the priorities. Before that, it was just a bucket of 40 hours per week that was gone. We were able to say, hey, over the month, he spent 20 hours getting a laptop set up for somebody. That's half a week, and it was an old laptop, way too much time. How can we improve that if we didn't know what was going on? And from that place of knowing, what are we striving for with proactive management? We want to spend zero time on reactive and all our time in proactive. So we want regular backups and restores and testing. We want to do our best practice audits on a quarterly basis. We want to monitor everything in the network. We want to do the technology summary every quarter. We want to get the business and the technology people together and talk about what happened and what's coming up in the business. We want to review the reactive requests. How could they have been prevented? That's the essence of proactive management. At Kirkhoff Technologies, we've put together software and systems that help us transition clients from being reactive to proactive. When reactive issues do come up, because it does take several months to make this switch, and we use our triage process, and we really set tough goals for ourselves. Every single issue, whether it's a phone call or an email, we want to be looking at within 10 minutes to decide if it's important. Who should look at it? What kind of issue is this? Do we need to know more? Do we need more information? What is the risk? Then either if it's a short issue, we work on it, or it gets passed on to somebody else. So it's a team approach. We put together documentation so anyone can look at it and quickly get to work. We don't need to explain it or ask a ton of questions. Anybody should be able to go and deal with it. Another super important thing is just having the right tools in place. We're not stumbling around looking for passwords and IP addresses. It's all at our fingertips. Documentation should be consistent. We never want to depend on a single person, ever. Your work for this week is to take a hard look at your company's IT management processes. Where are you reactive? Why are you reactive? What's happening to make you reactive? So how can you be more proactive? And is there room in your model to look at bringing in a professional to really get this in place? Like I said, this is tough. There's a bunch of pitfalls. We've been through a ton of them. It's not easy changing the culture of a company, and that's really what we're doing. We're changing to a proactive company culture which is pervasive and is going to impact how things get done. On that note, next week, for the final week in our bootcamp, we're going to discuss creating an IT strategy, which is the process of introducing change into your company. I hope you're getting value from the bootcamp so far. I've really enjoyed putting this together for you. Take heart, your technology action plan is almost complete. Bye for now, and I'll see you next time.